Sat Shri Akal ji, welcome to Haryali by Cherry. My name is Ravneet Kaur. This is going to be a very quick tour of what all is growing well in my paint buckets, in my pots, in my raised beds. So please keep watching. So now let me just give you an insight on these raised beds. So these are brick and cement raised beds. There are about 5 in total. I'll start with the first one. So this is my tomato, basil, marigold, lettuce and beetroot raised bed. So the marigold and basil are at the back, and you can see some lettuce at the bottom and also some beetroots at the bottom. So this is companion planting done with these 5 plants. Now moving on to the second raised bed, this has about 3 cauliflowers which are at the back, and then it also has some fenugreek which is at the bottom. There's a beetroot over here. This beetroot is the golden beetroot. This is my third raised bed. It has broccoli, it has lettuce, it has some garlic, all growing together. At the back you can see some sweet alyssum, and you can also see some peas which are in the pot. They have been given support with the net. There's also some cosmos at the back. Next to it, this is my nasturtium plant, pretty huge in size, and this raised bed had cabbage which I just harvested. So it had cabbage, it also has pak choy, and it has lettuce, and it has some radish growing in. That's my last raised bed. In this space it has a winter squash plant, it also has some calendula, and it has some tomato plants. So calendula and tomatoes also go well together, so that's again companion planting done in the raised beds. Coming to this space, you can see my guava plant. It is in a 20 or 25 inches deep pot. It is doing well. So I also have 2 raised beds. These are long and these are kind of 15 to 18 inches deep, and my carrots, my orange carrots have done so well in these raised beds. So these are carrots, and now I have some cabbages and cauliflowers at the back. And in the next raised bed I had some carrots. I also have some tomato plants growing in between the carrots. Yeah, that's how it is. Bottom you can see some coriander pots. I have grown some garlic with the coriander because I was seeing a lot of aphid attacks. So that's coriander and garlic growing together. This is my passion fruit plant. I have planted some lettuce with it. You can also see some sweet alyssum in a metal hanging basket. You can see a cauliflower which is looking really beautiful from here, and you can also see some paint buckets. Vegetables grown in paint buckets do really well, so if you have paint buckets you can grow your vegetables in them. At the back you can see some broccoli and cauliflower, and there's also some peas. Peas make good companions with brassicas, so I planted peas with them. That's basil and some cauliflower at the back. This is another raised bed which is doing really well, fingers crossed. It has tomatoes, and then it has some carrots which are in the front. Now the carrots are actually more of an experiment because I don't know if they'll do well at this time of the year. So I kind of sowed some carrot seeds about a month back. Now let's see what becomes of my carrot seeds. I also have some peas which are growing at the back. So there's some peas. So peas, carrots and tomatoes. There's also some calendula in the corner to attract pollinators. So there's calendula. Next to the tomato plants I have another raised bed which has cauliflower, broccoli growing together. It also has some onions which are at the bottom, because onions are a good companion to the cauliflowers and broccoli. Now right next to the lemon tree I have another raised bed. So this raised bed has broccoli. It also had cauliflowers which I've harvested. So it has broccoli, and I think it also has some beets which are in the corner. So yeah, there's also some cosmos at the back. This raised bed had a lot of cauliflowers, just harvested them, and now I've planted a few bunching onions. So spring onions have been planted in place of the cauliflower. Now these are my plastic pots which are about 3 years old, and I have about 2 cauliflowers or 2 broccolis in about 15 inches pot. And usually I get a medium sized kind of a flower. So if you want a bigger flower, I think 1 plant per pot should be fine. So there is cauliflower, broccoli, basil. I've covered this cauliflower. So there's some cauliflower. There is marigold, there is brinjal, again some cauliflower, there is a mini rose over here. And then I have these 16 inches grow bags which have some cabbage, broccoli and beets which are growing together. I also have sweet alyssum at the back. Sweet alyssum is really important for any edible garden because sweet alyssum attracts a lot of bees, and you really want bees in your garden. So sweet alyssum, there's also snapdragon with them, and there's also some purple salvia. So yeah, that's the purple. This is my second floor garden space. Now if you can see, in the first raised bed I have some fenugreek or kasuri methi, which is growing over here. Just harvested some about a week back. At the back you can see nasturtiums. You could also see some sweet alyssum. There's a curry leaf plant, and there's also some Texas sage. There's also some basil. So in this raised bed I have some lettuce. I also have some kohlrabi, and I have some broccoli and some garlic, which is growing in this. It's about 15 inches deep. At the back again you can see sweet alyssum. I also have some snapdragon seedlings in the pots behind, and there's also some mustard which has flowered. Right next to it there is spinach or palak, and I also have some fennel growing. So this was more of an experiment. So these are fennel, this is fennel plant. So I hope you enjoyed this garden tour as much as I enjoyed making it. Till then, have a very happy new year. Sat Sri Akal ji.